engine's pretty much apart. The only thing left is the pickup tube, balancer, front and rear cover, so on and so forth. So, alright. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Alright. So, pickup tube mounts in 3 locations. You got one towards the front, which is a big arm coming off it, another one in the middle, and then you got one guy over here at the end. So, those look like 10s. And they aren't. What are you? First things first, let's clear this up. It's gross. Alright, a little bit better. So I have some space now. Go and put some more crap on here. What to do with the oil pickup tube? Probably just gonna lay that inside of the oil pan. Never bothered to figure out what size these are, but 12 maybe? Nope, 14. 13. 13 it is. And for the actual pickup tube hold down, it's like a 10. Which it is. So, while I'm here, I'm going to take off the oil pan gasket. I do have a new one of these, so I'm not particularly too careful on how I remove this, but I'll point it out to you here. See in the corners there? Got RTV. This is like one of the only spots on these engines that you have to put RTV on. That's just because that's where the front cover, block, and the oil pan all meet up. So just like on your small blocks where the China wall, whatever you want to call it, the 4 corners of it there, they go and put RTV in that as well. Just that's because where you've got some mating surfaces meeting up, such as the block, the head, and the actual intake itself. Okay, so the pickup tube should just kind of pull right out. It's an O-ring seal. This right here is the cause of a lot of engine failures. Make sure there's only one of these. Make sure it's fully seated. And we'll get to this thing, bracket, at a later date. I'm just going to lay the pickup tube back down into the engine. Probably going to reuse that. We'll see though, just what works with what I'm going to be doing with this. So, windage tray. That's this guy. Right here. Supposed to help from, you know, oil sloshing and whatever else with this thing. I also have a new one of those. This was 13 for the other one, so hopefully they're all the same. Alright, winch tray. Comes right up. Put you in the oil. Oh, no. Stop. Rest you here. Stay. Alright. Now we can fully see. Well, let me make sure. Can you guys see? Nope. Can't see. Here it is. Here's the engine. So, a little bit gunk. Been there, obviously. As you can tell by the rest of the engine. We'll get a better look once we pull everything else out, but you look at the camshaft in there. And those lobes look okay. A little bit of scoring on that one I see, but actually that bearing race looks like it popped out. I don't know if you can see. Hold on. I don't know if you can see, but that's the bearing race right there. That nice shiny silver. And that looks like okay. Alright, I've made the executive decision to pull the harmonic balancer off. Alright. Now I forget what size this is. 24, 27. I got limited flavors here for... Come on. Stupid Harbor Freight packaging. Okay, got it off. 24 fits on there nice and snug like. Do I have a 23? Nope. Get out. My big gun here. Go and get my fancy schmancy 1/2 inch drive extender. Now this is torqued to like 240 foot-pounds, I believe, so let's see if it rips it off the engine stand. Cool. This came right off. You aren't supposed to reuse these, so don't. Torque to yield. Stretch. Don't do it. So you need one of these, harmonic balancer puller, especially the triple, whatever you want to call it kind, 3-hook. Just because on the back of these balancers, they've got little grooves, one on each side, or one on the 3 sides. That'll hook onto this. So I was told you got to use the longest one of these dudes, go all the way back inside. Can you see that? Right there, pokes out. So take these. I'm gonna go get some lubricant. Make sure it's lube, not seam sealer like I almost grabbed. I just got, I don't know, just multi-purpose grease. Go ahead and grease up your stuff. Because I didn't rent this, whereas if you rented it, you probably wouldn't care. And that's just to protect the tool. Not that I plan on using this too much, but hey, I bought it. An extra couple seconds will save you so much heartache once you break your brand new tool. I'm just gonna go ahead and thread it in, get it started. The hooks are on there like that. The rod is going all the way back in through the balancer up against the crank. And now that looks like 1/2 inch drive. Now some people use impact guns. I've been advised against doing that. Oh, it's 3/8. 3/8 drive. And what this should do is walk the crank off. Oh, you had more in you. All right. Trick someone showed me is you take your pry bar, you put your flywheel bolts back in. So take one of these out. And do one of those. Kind of jam it in there so that the engine doesn't turn over while you're trying to crank that down there. All right, folks. So here we go. As you heard on the back end there, the pry bar hit the engine stand. It's keeping it from spinning. So you can probably get a longer wrench for this, but I'm lazy. Come on, running out of threads here, guys. And there you go. Easy, right? There you go. Whole balancer's off. All right. So, balancer's off. And I gotta pull the front cover now. So, you 10? Yes, you are. All these bolts are the same length. Yep, all the same. Alrighty, so now we're gonna just pop this thing off. Nice and easy like. There it is. Alright, here's your front cover. It's got your front main seal where the pulley goes through. You got your gasket, ow, which is pretty stuck on there. Hope this engine didn't overheat. These gaskets do not need RTV. I will be reusing the front cover. I that gasket goes in the trash. This oil pump looks shiny and nice, which is weird. Very weird. Alright, you couldn't see anything when I started hitting recording. So, started over. All I did was back out these oil pump bolts. They are 10 mil. And there's 4 of them and they're all the same length. The oil pump should just slide right off. So, sorry. So these gears in here, I don't know if you can see that, those match up with the teeth on this guy. Now I'm going to find this story about behind, M295, so this is a Melling oil pump. Okay, so this has definitely been in. There's like high pressure versus high volume, or maybe that's a factory replacement, but I don't know, so we'll see. Okay, finally turn the screen around. Hey, so you can actually see what the hell I'm doing. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've never been much of a cinematographer here. These are 10s. 3 bolts holding the, what is it? I don't know, gear on the camshaft, whatever the hell the name is. Alright, this is going way too smooth. This guy should just come right off. So there it is. The original. Put that off to the side for now. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the engine over so that when I pull the camshaft, I don't dump all the lifters inside the engine. The other thing is, I was told, there they are. You can put a bolt from your water pump, one of these guys here, into this to give yourself a handle, and you can. Duh. Got a little bit ahead of myself. There is a cam retaining plate. This guy right here. That holds the cam in. That's also a 10. So let's see how bad this seal is on here, because this is usually something that yeah. So in case you didn't see that, the seal just kind of pulled off, but if I could try to just sit it back in there. What tends to happen is these seals will start to go, and then you just wind up dumping oil pressure into your front cover here. Now you'll never notice it because you won't have an oil leak as long as the front cover is nice and sealed up, but losing pressure that way. This is junk, so that goes in the trash. Right, water pump bolt. I put it over here. Water pump bolt. Right into the cam. I just very gingerly persuade it out. You might have to rotate it and wiggle it. This is my first time ever doing this, so if your lifters are still in, keep it upside down. Mine aren't. Also, mine were stuck, so probably wouldn't go anywhere anyways, but I put 3 bolts in here, and it should just kind of work its way out. Maybe. Okay, so the race for the camshaft was dislodged and all just boogered up. Now I gotta figure out how to get that bearing race, whatever you want to call it, camshaft race, the thing the camshaft rides on inside the engine. How to get that unbuggered and then pull the camshaft out. So that's where I'm at, and we'll be back once I figure that out. Alright, I got it out. I don't know if you can see this or not, but focus. Basically this end here was smashed in. This whole thing was junk. So beyond that, kind of tell that that bearing was spun. You see that black mark there. So LS is notorious for having bad oiling system, which is one of the things I'm going to address. This is the surface that the camshaft rides on. This actually kind of looks like it was spun right here. I don't know if you can tell. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, here's the problem child. Here's where, and I'll show you in a minute once I get it all the way out. Yeah. So you see how this one's nice and bright, and this one's all black? That is no good. I'm glad I was in here. So, just because someone says that it ran before doesn't necessarily mean that it actually ran. And if it did run, their definition of running versus your definition of running could be two things completely different. So that was the second part for episode 1 of the original engine build. That block I actually took back to the place I got it from. It was a junkyard because it was advertised to me as a running, driving motor. With that bearing, I highly doubt that. So I got a second block. You'll see that coming up in the next episode. The only difference is that it's out of an 03 versus an 05 Suburban. It's still an LQ4. So most of the stuff that you just saw here I won't repeat in those videos, but everything else that I did as far as cleaning it up will be included. So thanks for watching.